Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to a brand new episode of Squared Circle Society. I am Daniel Shine, joined as always by Todd, the Tool Lawyer, and Pugs Dread of the Horrified. Gentlemen, how goes it? We are here tonight to discuss the legend that is New Jack. How goes it?
And we should mention we're immediately following WrestleMania, so that was cool. Or
Yes.
wasn't, I don't know. So, at this point, are we still calling him Pugs Dread of the Horrified, or is he Pugs Dread of Flesh Wound Radio at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just forced to habit, but
I know, I'm just
That's
asking.
Yeah, I'm Flesh Wound.
He's both.
I was God, should we make like pre-tape predictions? I can't believe 3MB reunited to help Drew McIntyre win the title off Brock Lesnar. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of corny.
What if it fucking happens?
They all got
And then I'm gonna look
kids.
like a genius. Heath Slater's kids come in. Brock starts taking all these little ginger kids to Suplex City. It'd be
Like
awesome.
he did with
Of course, Bob's asking if we can do it tomorrow at 9.
Tough
Oh, no,
luck.
that's Ozzy. Never mind. Sorry, we're doing the other one. Yeah, Bob didn't even bother to respond. We were trying to have Bob back on. You guys
We
remember
were.
him, right?
So,
Of course they
still-
remember. You don't forget Bob.
Okay, I guess we're still doing the episode. Okay, I was like, are we going to do the episode then?
God damn it. I was going to... Hold on.
When we're on video, we just do what we fucking want.
I was going to bust out my New Jack action figure.
Oh yeah, I remember
Well,
that.
During this fucking quarantine bullshit, I moved some of my wrestling toys over there, and I saw it, but this was before the episode aired, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I love this thing. Put it away, and I totally forgot that Dark Side of the Ring was airing. I would have kept it with me and put it on by the TV.
Yeah.
I had a good time with that.
We
You know what? I had my tag team that I made was New Jack and Cactus Jack, and I called them the Jacks. And they were the longest reigning hardcore tag team champions in my little toy thing. They were cool.
Nice.
could have a 3D episode of this, and you could just throw your Alexa Bliss and have it stick to the screen. Be awesome.
My Alexa Bliss, I would just throw sperm at her all day. Oh, it's a family
The
show.
figure. That was the thing. It would have stuck to the screen and just gone down.
Well,
Wow,
I'm
why
not
do I
doing
want
that.
to
I
turn
knew
my
that.
screen?
Well, hopefully, right after WrestleMania, you're in the mood for... I don't give a shit. We're talking about New Jack. All kinds of fucked up shit's going to happen.
Yeah! I don't give a fuck.
Because I know this one, we're going to talk... What they talked about, we're going to talk about our New Jack stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I should open and just say there are a handful of wrestlers in my 33 years as a wrestling fan. Well, in life, basically, I've been a wrestling fan for life. And there are some guys that legitimately make you wonder. I think Scott Steiner's one. Like, he is a son of a bitch I would legit be afraid of. New Jack's one. I can't even say Haku because that's more behind the scenes. But New Jack was one that legitimately made you wonder that like, not that I'd ever boo him because I love him, but if I did, I might be thinking he might fucking kill me. He was just a mythical force of nature in the ring. I mean, I can't even describe, and I'm sure we'll be talking about Freefall, but I can't even describe that. It felt like you just witnessed a murder. He makes you fucking believe. Yeah, I mean, he makes you fucking believe. I mean, that guy is just a badass motherfucker in every way. This is gonna be a fanboy special tonight because
isn't that every special with you, Dan?
fuck you, Todd. New Jack's the man. But when did you first become a fan? Were you fans from like day one? Do you go back as far as
Why don't
Smoky
we
Mountain?
talk about the episode, Dan, before we get into our personal parts?
Oh, okay, well, fuck it. I didn't know we'd go out of order. PMS Todd. All right, let's talk about it.
Sisters.
Kind of like
Yeah, there you go.
format. I mean,
He turned it into a wrestling thing. All right, yes. Dark Side of the Ring, The Life and Crimes of New Jack. What did you guys think, being New Jack super fans? I mean, did it deliver? I felt like it could have used 2 parts.
since we're going to talk about the first time we saw him.
Fuck you, God.
Pugs, when was the first time you saw New Jack that you? I won't say live, but
Okay, it was on TV. Like, was it Channel 56 when ECW came on super late at night? I think it was Channel 56. Like his music hit, and then I forgot who it was against. But there's just a mess. There's a trash can, there's a shopping cart, and everything is just being tossed into the ring. And there's this, I'm gonna say, short black dude, because he's shorter than like everybody around him. But I'll be goddamn if he didn't stand toe to toe with him and whooped everybody's ass. I think it was the Dudleys. They might have been a replay of the Dudleys. Anyway, Magic. I was like, who is this dude? They are not turning off his music. That's cool. He's not really doing any wrestling moves. He's just fucking these people up.
yeah, I cannot listen to Natural Born Killers now without thinking of New Jack.
It's impossible.
I already love that song.
That little fucking swag that he does, too, like right after he hits. Coolest fucking thing. I love New Jack. I met him a couple of times, and he was always super nice to me.
Yeah.
I was a kid, but, like, I was very respectful, but he was also very fucking intimidating. And I'm like, he is not one to fuck with.
You didn't pull what the little white kid did with them.
No, I got it on me. Yeah, he was very cool, and like he was nice to everybody, and yeah, very very fucking cool. And that's shocking because like he's scary as fuck on TV. I'm like, oh my god, I wonder if he's gonna stab me. Or hit me honestly, he could have hit me with a fucking baking sheet, and I would have been like over the moon.
He's super nice.
Yeah,
like he's not a dick with his fans.
Don't ask him to do stuff. Ask Master Enzit.
What?
Getting to that, you don't address a veteran like that at all. Also, you just, what are we doing? Not, I want to do this, I want to do this. You big piece of shit, I will fucking kill you. It's like, okay. And also, he's black.
I will tell you this, and I was told by a wrestler, I won't say who, but there was a particular show he tag teamed and had a match with New Jack. New Jack and Mustafa. Pugs can probably figure out what it is and who I'm talking about. But I said, because one of the guys in particular in that match got really fucked up by New Jack. I asked him, not the guy who got fucked up, the other one, the tag team partner. So I was like,
okay.
When you went up, when you guys were going over the match, I was like, did the other guy like tell New Jack what he was going to do in the match? He's like, yep. That's why New Jack fucked him up. And I don't like the guy who got fucked up, so it was even better. So, yeah.
But not as bad as Mass Transit, so there's that.
What was your first time seeing him, Dan?
Oh wow, I was aware of it because I was one that always made it a point to know what was going on in the world of wrestling. So I followed Smoky Mountain, and so I was aware of the Gangstas at that time. Of course, Mustafa before they came to ECW. So I was aware of the name. I didn't know a whole lot about them, but that was like the first time I read about them. I'm assuming it must have been PWI. So really ECW is where I truly learned who he was, where, I saw him the first time, and same thing. I mean, you just captivated. I mean, he just fucked people up. You believed it. I mean, I can remember, smashing a fucking keyboard on a guy's nutsack. I mean, what young teen.
We'll talk later on fans bring weapon stuff. Some of the stuff that one of my favorite memories of me. Yeah, bringing something.
But yeah, no, I mean, he was a guy live. Even if it wasn't, I mean, even if you saw him on the indies, and it wasn't like he was jumping off of a balcony or doing anything like insane like that, he still had an aura about him. I mean, it was on. And who the fuck knows? He could just flip and decide to legitimately murder somebody. Well, yeah, he has. And I will say he's not the only one. That's a weird taboo. When I went to one of the training seminars, I mean, this is a little bit different, but you do have to be careful how you talk to a vet. And luckily, Axel Rotten seems like a really nice guy. But somebody brought like
his brother's a big,
yeah. But somebody brought like a bunch of shit for him to sign. It was just like, dude, you're here for training. What are you doing? Some people just don't know how to. I mean, he didn't seem to care that much, but still.
He got paid to train, so.
yeah, but people do weird things.
Expensive ass meet and greet.
Yeah.
Well, mine, the first time, I knew who he was and stuff from Smoky Mountain and the other stuff. First time I actually saw him, it was very distinct. I want to say it was back when ESPN was, or was it ESPN that had, might have been Fox Sports. One of them had ECW on. There was like a little wrestling block. There was one other one, I can't remember what it was, but I remember I just happened to stumble across it. And all I saw was the last maybe 5 minutes of it. And it was basically all I saw was the Gangsters promo. And I was like, holy shit. One, what is this wrestling? Two, I got to watch this next week. And then, why am I echoing?
Dan's
I don't hear an echo.
All right. Because he was, yeah, I think he was from.
It's the delay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I got to watch this next week and see what's going to happen. That was the last week they aired it on that channel. And I didn't get to see it again until right before Barely Legal. So at that point I was following it. I did some tape trades, but I wasn't like able to watch it weekly until right before Barely Legal. And that was I think it was In Demand or whatever, and they started playing the weekly show building up to the pay-per-view. And that's when I really got to see
that?
Okay. I can see me breaking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit.
Go ahead and repeat it.
Okay, am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, shit, I don't know where to go back.
You were watching it weekly before Barely Legal.
Yeah. Tape trade.
Okay, yeah, and then that's when I really got to see it when they were playing it on In Demand pay-per-view. They actually, like, In Demand just, like, it was, like, the only show that they didn't play shows. It was a pay-per-view channel. But they played them weekly just, like, because they were carrying the pay-per-view for free.
Mm-hmm.
The weekly show, not the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I never had it. I never caught it on cable. It was always that, I think it was Channel 56, right? The same channel XPW ended up being
It was KJLA 57.
50, okay, that one.
Back when it was America One Network, they had the back-to-back.
Okay. Yeah, yes. And I think that's why, because one day I was sitting late, and then next thing I know, like, I hear Danzig's music playing, and this other hardcore show came on. I'm like,
oh, wait, so you didn't go... Okay, see, we never talked about when you started going.
Oh, I never went to the Avalon shows. I started going.
Well, no, I went to the
for XPW.
Yes.
Baptized in Blood one.
Oh, see, I wish I would have went because I think Jonathan Davis was there too from Korn. He announced the main event. And that might have been when I first heard of XPW.
But
I don't remember.
Because I was
Yeah,
I was at the first taping at Sports Arena.
I believe I was there. Is that when Sabu debuted?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, I was there. Yeah, we didn't know each other at the time, which would have been cool, but whatever.
It would have been weird then, I think.
Fucking, I was so little, and I had like red curly hair, and yeah. My grandma took me and my buddy Jimmy. It's fucking awesome.
Did she take you to Buck Naked?
No, I wish.
You didn't go to them?
No, I didn't. Damn it. But homeless Jimmy, he was very cool to my grandma because the second show we went to, we had like front row, and like I bought her a shirt because she liked him, and then he noticed, and he's like he was just very cool, and I'll always love Jimmy, not just for that because he's a fucking good dude, but like in general, like, he was way nicer than he had to be to this fucking kid and a grandmother.
Yeah. No, that you always remember that. The positive experiences with wrestlers, especially early on, like that. And yeah, I mean, well, getting into the episode, my God, like his Smoky Mountain stuff. I mean, it wasn't the level of crazy that we saw later in ring, obviously, but holy shit, that promo. Shout out to OJ. Too less we have to worry about.
Holy shit! I wish I could have been there so bad.
God. Yep. And like you can see in his eyes, he's like, "Oh, I got it."
Too less we have to worry about. Can you imagine those fucking rednecks? I mean, holy shit! I know it was the '90s, but that's still redneck country. I mean, that wouldn't go over well now. I can still imagine
they'd be saying the same thing to him in 2020.
Do you think you would get an N-word chant now, though? I don't think so, even in Kentucky.
I don't think it was an N-word chant, Dan. It was people just calling him the N-word.
You think you would have that now? That would be unlikely, I think, anywhere.
No, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, not an N-word chant, but getting drunk.
Didn't I try to start a chant the last Hellbound?
When Dan was there, he wasn't having it. Yeah. We were trying to get Tornado to make him say it.
Oh, yeah. Tornado didn't, yeah.
His song, yes.
There's still people out there. What
was the song called, Dan?
Fuck you, Todd.
I remember at Baptized in Blood 3, the one in Pico, this one funny dude, K-Quick, or Ron, the Truth King, whatever his name was at the time.
Game Malik Shabazz.
So, this fucking kid, like, maybe 3 seats down, he's like, "I hate black people! Smile, I can't see you!" I was like, yeah.
And then they went straight N-bombs. And remember, he was telling them to suck. Yeah, he was leading too. They cut that all out for XPW TV and home video, but there's video of it that Ron Head shared. You can find it.
I thought it was funny.
XPW's crowd, I mean, ECW was crazy, but you would not have had that. XPW was like the next level of crazy.
It was better, and I'm glad he ended up there. But was it Heatwave?
Yes.
When XPW almost invaded.
96.
96? No, 99.
No, it wasn't 96. Yeah, I would say
2000.
I'm like way off.
Yeah, you're way off.
But I know you were there. I was up at the top, and there's only a few of us, and everyone's like, ECW. I'm like, fuck that. I am XPW all the way.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I was directly across. They were like, I was the second row, like, looking at them, at, like, Supreme and them.
Yeah. I was like, this is great. I don't know if this is a work or not. I'm gonna find out.
Chase went outside and got to see the good stuff. Well, not much.
He took photos, right?
Yes. Fucking Chase. You know his drunk ass was just walking out. Would have been funny if, like, Paul Heyman
when you did the turn one, right?
I can see Jason like putting like fucking Heyman in like a key lock or something, getting him on the ground.
I don't think you would touch Heyman, but anybody else, I think you're just trying to get a photo with Heyman.
Probably. and then talking about Terry Funk for like 2 hours.
I mean, that's easy to do, though.
You don't remember he was drunk and he was just talking about it. Was
Terry Funk is the greatest wrestler of all time.
Okay, guess it was in Hellbound.
No, wasn't he? No, it wasn't Hellbound, was it? Oh wait, Dan was there.
Yeah. Okay, so it was either
Hellbound. I remember him doing that at the VFW when he was sitting on the pool table and he went shut the fuck up.
Well, he was out there with Andre, so yeah, it was in the back.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so it was definitely Hellbound.
Could have been Kyle's show the day before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
or the week before. But anyway, yeah, we should probably talk about the episode.
Mass transit.
Yeah, is that where we're starting? We're not gonna talk to childhood.
Oh, was that okay? Yeah, it's the childhood. Didn't know.
No.
I knew he had a fucked up childhood, but I had no idea it was to that degree of fucked up. Witnessing your mom, or any parent really, be abused is bad enough. Add a stabbing. Goddamn. And a gunshot. All before like the age of 5, I think it was.
Yeah, with the inner arms, yeah.
You're gonna get fucked up. Yeah, he's in her fucking arms.
Yeah, it's gonna be really easy not to give a fuck in life.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then like growing up, he starts robbing stores, and he realized how fucking easy it is to do. He's like, I'm just sitting outside the corner. What am I gonna say? Give me the money.
Right.
And the bitch gave me the money, and he's like, and I did it every week.
Well, I just went to the same store every week.
That's what wasn't clear to me too, because I'm like, you're in the same store, dude. Branch out.
Well, we'll have to send him a message and ask, was it the same story?
I think he can probably answer that.
Did you hear the story of John Kronos when somebody tried to rob him and he like stuck his finger in the gun?
Yes.
I have not. That's badass.
Terry Saturn sitting there and he's like, it would have exploded like he in the cartoon, and Terry was just like, man, he was retarded.
That was another nice man too.
Yeah.
He's cool as fuck.
Kronos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yeah.
It's John Kronos.
Yes, I knew that. I knew Kronos.
But you're saying Kronos.
I said Cronus.
No,
I think. Whatever.
Yeah, Kronos.
You were saying it Del Toro. Yeah.
It's the Klingon homeworld. I might have gotten mixed up. But yes, Cronus. Man, I still remember Cronus. Somebody yelled something at him, and he's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, that's exactly what your mom said when I was fucking her in the ass. Oh, wow. This is...
Dan was like, Mom!
Is this true?
But, yeah, no. Oh, man, XPW. But specifically, New Jack. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that kind of shit happens. You're going to be a little bit different. For sure. A little bit aggressive.
So, from there...
I'm trying to remember the order of everything, but then they kind of talk about him training. That's where they could have actually have gone into a little bit more. I really do think this should have been a two-parter, because the Smoky Mountain, I mean, it's not that lasted very long. I mean, it really didn't, but there was something pretty special going there. I mean, I think almost too much heat. I mean, that felt like that could have potentially gone terrible. Yeah.
Well, they said they had to get taken out by the cop cars.
Yeah, no.
What you want? That
Right?
is exactly what you want. Like, yeah, I'm doing my
Motherfuckers
fucking
now
job.
motherfuckers now are afraid of that kind of heat. That kind of
Yeah.
heat is fucking money.
Like, the last
I'll tell
big
you.
person to do that was, what, Jericho, when he went through that little... I didn't like that phase, but when he's like, I don't want any merch. I'm going old school. I won't sign any autographs. I'm like, it's respectable, but, like, dude, you're fucking Chris Jericho.
It's hard now. When this Corona thing's over, you know what I do? I start a Chinese faction that comes out, like, dedicating the match to Ting, and, like, I go for the heat. I want them to turn this into a
Gonna
Muhammad.
call it the Wuhan Clan. So they
There
ain't
you
nothing to
go.
fuck with.
There you go. Like you said, you get the mist, and yeah, no, I'm for it. Go for the heat. I do think it was good how this sort of set the stage, though. I mean, Rodney King and then OJ.
Oh my
I-
god.
You can
Taking
imagine.
that shit to rock and roll. Oh my god. That's when they had to get fucking escorted out. Those motherfuckers would have got killed for that shit.
I'm amazed somebody didn't try and jump in the guardrail and get in the ring. To be honest,
I'm sure somebody tried. But you know what? They're also fucking terrifying. Just the four black dudes
Yeah,
in a fucking ocean of fucking white people. But they're already kicking these two dudes' ass that are professional ass kickers.
yeah. Well, Ricky Morton's like a god, so I mean, even at that point, I mean, everybody remembered Ricky Morton. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it would be like being in Texas back in the day, and they're just kicking the shit out, and just taking a piss on the Von Erichs or something. I mean, it's gonna get you some big heat. I love that shit. That you don't get that anymore. Nobody can inspire that kind of anger. It's gone.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody.
Yeah, I'm like, there's...
I've been in the middle of some shit where we're ready to kill people.
That is true.
But yeah, that keep up the good work, OJ.
Oh my god, that is so fucking awesome.
Two less to worry about.
Yeah.
The good work. That one is wearing a Malcolm X shirt, and so good.
Or when he came out with the white baby on the news
Oh,
Oh God.
well, I guess we got to go right into ECW. I mean, where the man really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to say that's where he made his name. I mean, he was making some noise, but
That's where he fucking splashed.
yeah.
Because because I didn't follow Smoky Mountain at all. I think I was too small to recognize oh, this is a bigger world. I was like, oh, they're all wrestlers. They don't work for the same company.
Well, the WWE crossover with them too, so some people were aware of them through that. But
Yeah,
this was his time to shine.
Yeah, it was. It was the perfect promotion for it, like they even say. It's like Jack was
Cornette called it out.
Yeah.
Cornette was like, what did he say? Like ECW is where they take everything to the extreme, but New Jack is always the one to take it even more extreme.
yeah.
I'll be goddamn if he didn't do it.
I was surprised how little Cornette talks shit.
He'll kill him.
Well, no, I don't mean about New Jack, because those guys are cool, but I mean just about ECW.
Oh, they probably edited it out.
I have an interesting alternate history question for you. Do you think that would New Jack have ever been New Jack or a version of it if WWE came calling and he didn't go to ECW? Would we have seen him become something along the lines of what Mick Foley became, or would he just have?
No. But I think what we would have got is the Nation of Domination version.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'd do a hardcore match or two, but I don't think unfortunately, I don't think he would have survived.
Yeah.
At that time, we weren't ready for it. Maybe late Attitude era.
Look what they took D'Lo out of that group. Look what they did with D'Lo. He was just the The quiet guy in the corner in the OG Nation.
Yeah.
He did the same role he did as the Gangsters. He was the bump machine.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, pretty much he started out the exact same way. I mean, we all think of New Jack as, kind of the prop guy, which, hey, it worked. Certainly can't blame him. I don't know.
The entrance is so fucking cool. And Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, I don't know who did it first, but when he made his debut and he started coming out and he started throwing trash cans out and stuff, I was like, I've seen this before. I know you do this, but I think you got some swagger from New Jack, which is why I put them together as a toy and make them tag team champions.
As long as he didn't start wearing camouflage.
Imagine he comes out in fucking
I'm just saying,
City shirt.
The Dudleys got super heat for that from the switching up the camp.
Did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jack was pissed.
Oh, that sucks. I didn't know that because I was like, oh,
I
that's
think they're cool now.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
they
hope
were.
so. Because you don't own fucking camouflage, dude. Like,
It's one of those things where you don't kind of know with the other wrestlers. You don't do certain things. But I get what you're saying. But being that they were both from ECW, both hardcore, I get why New Jack was annoyed. Because I think the thing was they didn't even call him up and be like, "Hey, Jack, they're going to put us in camo now."
Mm-hmm.
oh, so the decision wasn't even up to the Dudley Boys,
No, that's what I remember now.
and
They
they
didn't want him in tie-dye.
that probably didn't cross
Probably
the line until after.
Probably because of Mick Foley.
Dudley
Because you
Love.
can't have two people named the same thing. Can't have similar outfits. We can't do that.
Did your heart break every time? And there was multiple times. It was either Jack said it himself or it was reported that he was going to WWE, even post ECW.
I never thought it was going to happen. I never was like, oh, shit, he's going to...
Can you imagine if he was the one that stabbed Cena?
That would have been badass.
It wouldn't have lasted, but can you imagine you're just watching Raw and then you just see Cena like clutching his rib cage or something and New Jack sitting there with the shank? I would have jumped out of my fucking seat.
I want that now. I hope he shows up at WrestleMania.
Hey, yeah, go crazy with it. You might as well.
Yeah.
Shit. That would be top 10 in all of wrestling. Mass
Transit. Let's talk about that. Because
Yes.
I'm going to jump straight to the end when he goes, I hope that fat piece of shit bleeds to fucking death because I don't give a fuck. That is cool as shit. And that's after he just beat the shit out of this 17-year-old, which...
In front of his dad.
In front of his dad. His own damn fault. He's like, oh, I'm 21. Well, you're going to get your ass kicked like a man then, kid. And then all you're going to do is call him a nigger. Nigger, you nigger. Okay. Let him through. New Jack will fucking kill his ass, too.
Well, yeah. Don't ask New Jack to blade for you.
Dude,
I don't know
honestly,
that.
you
Man.
ask, what do you want to do? And then at the end of it, like, just be nice. Is it cool if I get in, like, just maybe one shot of offense? It's respectful. Yeah. You gotta make it look good. Not like, hey, I want to do this and this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
See you in the ring.
I've never wrestled a match in my life, and even I know that you don't go to a vet and say, we're doing this, 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 and this.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
There's some people I would bet to this day still do it. I mean, you would think
sure
they'd know better,
They
but
smarten up real fucking fast.
And they're lucky that it's not New Jack, but I'm sure they still feel it.
I think it's Sid actually. I don't know exactly what he was talking about, but he said something like, when people do that, I'm just like, he's like, choke slam, power bomb, and then he just like walks away from him. So, keep it simple.
You don't want to give me a big boot off the top?
Now that would be a funny comeback. I'm sure Sid could still beat the shit out of you, though. But yeah, man. I mean, mass transit. It's amazing. 20 years later, and that's just this no-name jobber, and we're still talking about mass transit. I mean, my God.
And didn't he say, what I'm going to do to this kid, they're going to be talking about in 10 years, and now it's 20 years later.
And then
Profit.
what did you react when you heard he was dead? And I don't give a fuck. Oh, well.
I happen to agree. I didn't kill him. Fuck it.
It wasn't his fault.
Can you imagine, though? Mass transit probably could have gotten a payday to have come back at some point. Can you imagine the reaction if, like, fucking mass transit, like, comes in and costs him a match or something? That rematch would have fucking sold.
If that dude didn't, like, humble himself ahead of time, New Jack would have killed him in the ring.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories, I think it was in Beyond the Mat, they might have brought it up, when they were dragging him out. I know Kid Cash tells the story, maybe in Forever Hardcore, one of them. When they were dragging him out, like, he was, like, holding on and telling, like, he stands like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And he's like, no, Dad, I'm one of the boys.
Is that when he had his middle fingers up on the stretcher?
I think that was after that, once they got him in the stretcher.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, well, he was trying. I think when he realized how bad it was and his dad got in his ear,
Yeah.
that's when it went to shit.
Well, he didn't have to actually fucking cut his entire fucking thing like he's an old school Indian. Scalping a
He
motherfucker.
said no blood was coming out. And with the surgical scalpel, fuck.
Yeah. Give it a second, New Jack. You
I did.
hit it.
It's bad watching a video. Sometimes with blood, like when you're there, I can only imagine what that looked like.
Fuck. Remember
Yeah.
BC in that one cage match?
Yeah.
How far do we go here? Like, I'm gonna give something away. Like, he probably didn't know to take an aspirin or a blood
If
thinner.
Ozzy was on, he'd be so mad. You'd give.
Well, I don't know.
Everybody knows.
No, I know. That's funny. You know. Well, we're
I
kind
was
of like
taking aspirins
talking
when I
about-
was goofing off in the backyard. I mean,
talking about this anyway. Is like basically.
well, the cat's out of the bag now.
Or he could have had some. He could have done it the other way. Had some booze.
Or that. I'm sure he did. Oh, no, the fat kid. He's only 17, can't drink.
Oh, that's right. Maybe New Jack gave him a bump.
When we get
Can you
Steve,
imagine?
that was my favorite.
Going back to school, I mean, hey, if nothing else, I'm sure in his own way, he hyped that up. Look at what a badass I am. I'm sure it got him laid.
He seemed kind of retarded, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a bragging kind of lay, but it probably got him laid.
Man thinks everything gets you laid. Man, all that midget, all that poon that little guy with him got.
Yes.
He was funny.
And
The
he
Jerry
did-
Springer dude.
He did get
I know,
WWE.
Jerry Springer. They broke kayfabe, Dan. I told you it was a work.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Told
I don't
you
know.
there's wrestlers on all the time. I still remember Jamie Dundee. He was on there as like 2 or 3 different people. They spaced him out so you didn't realize it.
I wasn't a huge Springer watcher. I mean, I after a while, it's kind of like,
What about the Springer Uncut VHS tapes?
oh, I had them.
Those are awesome. Did you have the Cops Uncut?
I think so, or my brother did. Yeah,
I think I still got them somewhere. Yeah, they're like arrest people, titties are flying. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Banned from television. Let me get into a whole other thing.
Too hot for TV.
well, from mass transit, we get into the first Vic Grimes incident where Grimes almost kills him, which Whose fault would you consider that? It's interesting.
Vic Grimes' fault,
Okay.
right? Am I wrong? This is
I
not
didn't
an
say you
opinion
were
thing.
wrong. I've just heard different opinions on this one.
I think it's a mix of both because
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
but
get-
Vic is the one that's like, I'm not ready. We gotta go. Now, mind you, like, sure, like, I guarantee you he did not intend to do that.
you know.
But I
yeah,
agree. I agree with New Jack. He should have been the first one to call, like, check, like, once a week. How are you doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, regardless of whose fault it was, and you can say, yes, Grimes said no, New Jack said, fuck you, we're doing it anyway. How is it going to look if they don't go, they climb up there and do that, and then they just climb down? You're up there, you got,
you
and
could have
it's
called it.
New Jack has a reputation to protect.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he could have said, all right, push me off, and we'll figure it out. I mean,
That's not what they agreed to. And also, New Jack
Oh,
could have
yeah.
did what he did a few years later, or 1 year later, and just toss his fat ass off the thing there. But he's like, no, let's go. I do think they should have had more than one table.
Yeah.
That would have helped a lot, but yeah,
I've heard different.
it's fucked up, but because I like Vic, I think he's a cool dude.
Mhm.
But I do think the majority of the fault lies with him.
I,
Couple things I gotta say. I've heard different versions of this story about Jack and him forgiving each other and all that stuff, and I thought it was very, interesting that Grimes wasn't there. They didn't even say, "Oh, we reached out," nothing or anything.
they
Yeah,
had to
that's a good
reach
point.
out. Sure. I mean,
But I mean, are they going to bring him on if it like contradicts?
Maybe not for New Jack. If there is somebody
you know
else
what's funny?
who
I'm
wouldn't
just
go
thinking
out and
about this.
murder somebody.
Couldn't we do a fucking? God, I hope New Jack doesn't hear this one to kill me. Couldn't we do like almost like a Tiger King style documentary off New Jack? And I'll tell you why. Because when you go, there's so many fucking side stories off New Jack.
yeah.
Going off that, I mean, if you go to Rob Black and the Messiah shit,
Go to Sandman.
because it circles back around because of New Jack and Epic bringing it up, and that, well, he's part of the reason the whole thing started, or allegedly started. But yeah, I don't necessarily mean like Tiger King, but it like you can literally watch it like you did Tiger King, and be like, what the fuck? And it gets crazier and crazier as it goes on.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what they totally glossed
He's had an
over?
interesting life.
They glossed over the Terry Runnels stuff, too. Because that was when he started selling nudes of her, allegedly. Well, I think he did, didn't he? But, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they
there's a
dated
lot.
for a while, but that wasn't really.
He's
Again, that
he said at one point that she had him like cut her head while she was like sucking his dick. It would have been interesting to I don't know whether that's true or not, but it would have been
I hope it
interesting.
is.
I hope so too.
The red lube. Get it down there.
But yeah, no, that's tough. I mean, I guess you could say, I mean, Grimes at that point would have to answer for it if you fuck up on pay-per-view like that and decide you're not doing a spot you agreed to. Absolutely.
Well, he made sure because he
Yeah.
motherfucker had a taser. And I love the fact that Sandman knew about it. Didn't bother to tell anybody. He's like, yeah, I knew. He told me he was going to do it.
And we've heard the story too. Well, I think he said it publicly. That Supreme went up and said, "No, we need to move this out a little more because he went up to check from the top,
Mhm.
and like if they wouldn't have moved the ring, he wouldn't have landed in the ring."
No, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard it. Makes sense though.
Yeah, him and someone else. So they went out just to check it, and you know how they're like, "Well, we got to move that ring."
Do you buy?
I hope they didn't get him heat.
Do you buy that it was on purpose, or did that just happen? And because Honestly, if that happened with me, I'd probably, own it. It happened. What are you going to do? I mean, I'd tell the
he'd
guy.
also be charged with attempted murder, or manslaughter at least. Yes.
See, this is where the conflicting stories lie.
Mm.
Because there were stories that they were already cool at that point, and he'd already forgiven him, and it was all already done when that happened.
You could have said it.
Or, yeah, I made him think.
Right, but I'm saying there are already stories of that, and that he's he wasn't trying to kill him. I don't know. That. Remember when we got outside? Well, you were there, right, Bugs?
I did not go to that one. I had a ticket.
That was the buck
and something
naked
happened.
match.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did go to Baptizing Blood 3 though, so I saw
Okay.
Angel and Supreme.
Right. That's still my scariest bump I've ever seen live. They had the ambulance already outside. I don't know. Part of it felt like a work, but that could also be. I don't mean that part, but they had the ambulance ready and all that stuff.
I mean,
I just think they had that planned.
just in case.
Yeah, I know, but people like, oh, it's a work, blah blah blah, like they deal with everything.
Well, it's going to look pretty spectacular no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a hospitalization storyline anyways.
I think it would look better if they went through the tables, not just, like two and then bounce off. But
No, I agree. I don't
But
think
that-
it'll work, but I know that's what's been talked.
That's how you knew it didn't go right, though. You know what I mean? Like, that was not how it
No,
was.
that, you could
Bombs
take
away.
perspective it almost went wrong.
dude, when New Jack tells the story and he just goes, "Bombs away!"
I remember hearing the fucking stun gun. We were like, oh shit. But in the front row, was hard to see on top.
Mhm.
But, like, okay, if I'm telling you where I was sitting, I was on, depending what you call it, I was in front of one of the scaffolds. So when he got tossed, like, he was the further ring post was where he bounced.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Dude, Owen Hart.
Okay, that might have been a little bit.
Very fucking close.
Yeah.
No,
Can you imagine being
I wonder
there?
if New Jack's glad it didn't now, or whatever.
I mean,
I don't think he cares.
I honestly believe that.
yeah,
'Cause even after he did it, he started doing, he was in characters. He's like doing his New Jack bullshit.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, irregardless, you'd have to do that. I mean,
Yeah,
know,
then
Undertaker, when he threw off Mick Foley, Mankind, he was like,
Yeah.
you can see the kind of oh shit in his eye, like fuck. Okay.
Yeah, because New Jack was at the top fucking doing the X. He was like fucking. Well,
It's also
he
high on
already said-
cocaine, so.
I was going to say, he's already said that. And I remember him coming down and like talking shit in Gron's face. Pretty funny.
now we're even, you fat fuck.
And Ron
Yeah.
Head yelling, "Get the fuck out!"
Uh,
I got to do my impression at the last show.
I do think that would be the peak of crazy, but then there was Gypsy Joe. Poor Gypsy Joe. That
Man,
one was
that's the first time I actually-
I'm an old man.
that was the first time I've seen that footage too. I was like, God damn, Jack!
I've
Fuck.
never seen that footage from that.
I haven't seen the entire
I never-
clip, but I remember seeing him throw him into the chair and then take
I
like
think
a
I saw
swing.
that.
I was like, whoa. And then-
But like
Or
when he's
he's,
like hitting with the fucking
and
baseball
throws it
bat,
out.
like yeah, if you're the promoter, you kind of like talk about you better sell for New Jack. That was like the worst you booked. Like, let me book the guy who doesn't sell anything against the guy who's gonna get really pissed off if he doesn't sell anything because he
No,
always fucking
to
kicks some
fucking
of
kill.
that.
Yeah. I mean, like, but also they didn't tell New Jack what his gimmick was. Like, oh, he's impervious to pain. I'm
Right.
sure it wouldn't have made a fuck, but at least he wouldn't have taken it as personal.
Oh, I'm sure
Why
he's
the
like,
fuck aren't you selling for me?
So this old piece of shit doesn't feel it when I hit him with a fucking chair.
And he said he already pissed him off because The way he approached him about the match.
Well,
Right? That was
to
this one, too.
Joe, he's probably thinking, I've never watched ECW. I'm sure he probably hadn't. And to him, it's like, oh, this is just some indie. You should listen to me. I'm the vet. Didn't work out so well. But to him, he was the vet. Who's New Jack?
Yeah,
Well,
but if it's a vet and a vet, he has to understand New Jack's a name, and he's been around a long time. So what's that been? 10 years ago now, if that?
2003.
Oh, damn, was it really?
17
Yeah.
years ago? Or what-
Gypsy Joe lived a long time for a wrestler because he just died a couple of years ago, a few years ago. And I think he was like 72 at the time, so, you know.
Well, the way New Jack tells him, so I beat the shit out of a 102-year-old man. Whatever he said.
Fuck.
That one was scary. Like, I mean, I wasn't there, obviously, but
Put
that
your
was scary.
JR voice. Stop the damn match. Enough's enough.
Oh, man. And you could see when he just fucking lost it, too. I mean, that was ugly. I mean, if I were there, I'd be just like...
You could see the people in the crowd just like jaws open, fucking like stunned. Yeah, I was gonna say the white people, but I think that's all there were anyway.
the last one I
it's
grew
the
up with.
territory. Yeah.
Yeah.
The slaves loose. Get them.
Oh,
They were like, they're killing. Finally, the gypsies, not the bad guy for once.
Right.
I mean, Gypsy Joe.
I get the idea of let's book a new school versus old school hardcore match, but yeah.
That's just a mistake.
Yeah, New Jack's one you want to, if you don't realize who you're in there with. I mean, I would be terrified. I mean, again, I think he doesn't do stuff for no reason. Like, he doesn't strike me as somebody, like, if you're respectful, I don't think he's going to, like, take liberties with you. I've never heard anything like that, but...
I'm sure even if it's accidental, his receipts must suck ass. Like, dude, I just hit you hard. You didn't have to fucking stab me in the leg.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What was the other incident? Who was that one?
Hunter
Red.
Red.
Yeah.
What year was that one?
That was 2004, so it really wasn't that much later.
I like the fact when Jim Cornette breaks it down. Oh, that's where New Jack got mad.
Yeah. Well, you can see,
And
like,
then
when he's, like,
he's trying to handle me?
picking him up. And then that was funny, like, boom, 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 boom.
And I just love the fact that he has in his pocket. Now, mind you, he probably knew some shit was going to go down because, again, this guy approached him in the
Yep.
wrong way.
Yeah.
I want to do this, and this, and this.
I think he was a vet,
Okay,
too, I
I'll
believe.
see
I
you
don't
in the
know a lot
ring.
about him, but yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's the wrong way to go about
What do
it.
you want to do, Mr. New Jack?
Yeah, I am open. Let's do this, and then you have a good fucking cool match with a legend,
Yeah.
or you can get stabbed nearly to death.
You can just picture the look. It's like, what the fuck? I'm getting stabbed. I was just trying to pick him up.
Well, he was also stiff in New Jack too, to the corner.
Yeah.
You didn't see it.
Are you sure you want to do that? If you're gonna do that, make sure you can win, or you're willing to stab him back.
I thought it was funny when it's like he dropped the charges. He's like, I want to do a revenge angle where Hunter Red's out for New Jack. And he's like, then I just fucking left Florida.
That's smart. Shit.
Yeah, get him to sign that shit and I'm out.
He stabbed him 9 times, and they were like, "Oh, 16."
Like they said it was 16. I counted. It was 9.
And then you can see his friend, the older black dude. He's like coming out to the ring to try to stop him, and New Jack just shoves him away. It's like, nah. It's like, I just did a bump or 2 back there. I'm fucking this kid up.
Fuck.
And I love how he caps it all off if they make a movie about him I want the ending to be me in a wheelchair snorting coke. You know?
That's one of my favorite fucking parts. And then they had the silhouette. Do it.
You had to condense a lot. There've been other. They didn't. Another thing they didn't get into is when he punched out Brian Knobs. That was another big. What?
Who has it?
Who has it?
That was the one where Brian Knobs was chewing out the locker room, and I guess New Jack was looking at his phone, and then he started to actually say something to New Jack. Fuck you, New Jack. I was like, I remember him saying, he put the phone down. He's like, what? That one wasn't as big. I mean, I think he just said it was one punch. He just pretty much.
When someone gets punched in the locker room, is that even that big?
Well, if somebody's being an asshole, and then you're the hero that takes him out with one shot. I was a big Nasty Boys guy, but I've heard they could be dicks.
They can.
I didn't know there was such a thing. I thought he just had Hogan. That was his only fan.
Probably enough for him to get away with a lot of shit back in the day, I'm sure.
Dan Pop for the pit stop.
They had some good stuff.
I did too. Shit's gross.
Cactus Jack and WCW, they had some good matches. But, yeah, I mean, what else can you say about New Jack? Fucking legend.
I wish he would have held the belt at least one time. I know Tommy Dreamer's like, I never wanted it, blah, blah, blah. Like, well, you got it, so shut up. But New Jack, I think he could have had a cool run.
I don't think it would have been a long run, but it would have been fun. It would have been.
He should have beat Sabu in XPW.
Yes.
He was a fucking draw. I mean, holy shit! If they decided to do it,
were you at the one he debuted?
Yes.
See, that's the one XPW show in the run I missed.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He jumped off the, where the big X was of that tier?
Yes.
Shit was cool. I finally got to see him jump off one of these fucking things.
Yeah, I missed the debut. I was at all the other ones. I was so pissed I missed it.
Yeah, it happens, man. I miss Freefall. I was fucking like, what happened? What happened?
That one, I still remember, just on the internet after that. That was the biggest story in wrestling for a time. I mean, it was wow. I mean, that was the stuff of legend. That wasn't just an XPW moment. That was a history of wrestling moment. And yeah, man, New Jack. I would never fuck with you, sir, if you listen to this. All the respect in the world. Well, if I ever work with you, whatever the fuck you want to do, it's good.
I still want to. I was gonna say I still want a homeless Jimmy New Jack match. I don't know if they've ever worked a 1-on-1.
That is gonna be. That would be fucking amazing.
Right.
And scary. I'm like,
right?
I love you both. Stop it.
I don't.
That would be the first time I give a new guy a pop in UEW.
I don't follow the indies in the same way I used to, but I don't think New Jack does as many bookings.
He doesn't do as many. I'm more annoyed. He was living in LA before he moved to where he's at now. When UEW was running, that he never got brought in. That would have been fucking.
Yeah.
But
I doubt at this point you'd see the same level of craziness, but I'd still love to see him.
I don't. I have you seen Terry Funk?
I fully believe we haven't seen the last Terry Funk match. He'll come out there. It'll be like Abdullah the Butcher. He can't get in the ring anymore, but he'll fucking brawl with somebody. I don't think Terry's retired.
I'm just saying, as long as New Jack has a breath in his body and he can walk, I think he's willing.
Yeah, I don't think he'll really retire. How do you? At that point. Unless he got that reality show that he claimed to have. I would have loved to have seen that, but...
Oh, the one that him and Klein Rock were supposed to do, I think it was?
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, reunion show. Yeah,
Yeah, Cold Day in Hell. Remember when he talked for like 30 minutes, Bugs?
about how he had like $1 million deal. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And why did they not do a fucking New Jack fucking reality show?
They don't like
Yes,
quality TV.
I was there the first time New Jack retired. At Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah.
I know I have to ask. Were you there, Pugs?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, I think we've discussed that one before.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Love you, Jack.
well, I can't really say anything else except true icon. We'll never see him in the Hall of Fame, but he should fucking be there. Legend, just a legend in wrestling in general.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay,
He's
you
a
know
really
what?
cool fucking humble dude. He's actually really fucking humble. That's like the shocking thing. His character is like scary as fuck. And if you piss him off or disrespect him, yeah, he'll be scary as fuck. But if you're cool, he's nicest fucking gentleman. He was super cool
Yeah.
to me, always.
Good
And,
to his
like-
fans, absolutely.
He's just really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. If you ever get a chance to meet him, don't be intimidated. Just don't be
Be
a
respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. Don't steer him wrong, Dan.
Don't rub him and look at your fucking hand. That's just
Just
That's the
ask
first
him,
stabbing.
like, can I put you in like a submission for the photo op?
Did you get a photo op? Did you get a photo with him at Cold Day in Hell?
I have 2 photos of him I have to find. I don't remember when I took them.
computer bump.
I don't think I did on Cold Day in Hell.
I know
Maybe.
I did. I know I did. It was because it was both of them. So
You have to show me sometime.
I gotta look for him.
I know mine's on my computer. So I have that one and the one with Rob and Lizzie,
I wish I could have been at those reunion shows. I was so psyched.
which
Still to this day,
I
I
looked
hope
at-
it goes back, but what's the point? Almost.
I didn't hear a word Dan said. So
I knew.
You hear me now?
What's the point? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's very few people left from XPW, but I'd still like to see it back if they can capture the field.
no, Rob's on the East Coast. I don't care. I can't go. I don't want to watch it.
You fly out.
When Rob Black showed up in UEW, Todd, I think you remember, I marked the fuck out.
Yeah, because we knew the music.
Yeah.
'Cause you know what's funny?
I
You know,
think I
what's
lost my
funny?
voice like 3 chants in.
It took a minute. Because I remember like being mad. Like, who the fuck's using Rob Black's music?
I was
I
like,
didn't
it's
think it
fucking
was
Rob
going to be him. And then he came out.
Yeah. Fucking badass.
And then you
Yeah.
remember when Tornado used New Jack's music at fucking
Yeah.
Cold Day in Hell. No, sorry, Cold Day in Hell. Fucking Sovereign of Slaughter 3?
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I would have done that at the last show. I did suggest it.
Does anybody? I mean, this isn't to do with the Dark Side of the Ring, but one of the cooler short-term tag teams, New Jack and Shark Boy.
I was
And
waiting
early-
to bring that up.
A
Yeah.
lot of fun. They did some really funny shit. New Jack, a lighter version of him, which was fun. I mean, getting to see him do comedy.
Oh, yeah, New Jack's funny as fuck.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. He could have. Man, it's too bad. I would love to just
Yeah,
see.
you know what? If he did go to like the WWE, I can see him doing like what R-Truth is doing right now.
Yeah, look at R-Truth. Who'd expect we'd still have him like 20 years later in WWE, right?
Yeah.
And
48.
for quite a long time having fucking some of the best parts on Raw.
Yeah, yeah,
He
still-
saved it. He saved like segments of Raw for damn sure.
Yeah. Remember when he would just randomly come out in the middle, like and challenge people? I was just
Look for little Jimmy.
so good.
I always. It's always been funny because I think I might have even said it to Jimmy, and it's like, well, you're basically the last like full-time XPW guy working because Supreme only does so much now, and that I always forget about R-Truth. Like, we have an XPW alum still in WWE.
Was he ever in WCW? I don't remember.
No.
Okay, I was like, he went like all across the board, but I didn't. Okay.
He had the K-Quick run early developmental, and it
Yeah,
was
right.
weird because when they cut him, I was like, huh, it seemed like he was on his way to being something, if not a main eventer, certainly something. And then, yeah, he shows up in XPW. He's had a very odd career path.
Well, no, he had the WWE run first.
Yeah, it's K-Quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said it was in developmental.
No. He was in developmental in the very early days of developmental.
And then he
K-Quick.
had the tag team with Road Dogg.
Yeah, K-Quick. Then he was XPW. Then he went to NWA TNA. He had an interesting career path.
I want to say they were at the same time.
What were the same?
He was already in TNA.
And XPW?
I want to say yes.
No.
I don't think they overlapped.
That was 2002. But, I mean, it would have been, like, right after that.
Yeah, because Chaos was, yeah, okay. My memory is fucking old.
Yeah, I was going to say. You're an old bastard, Todd. But, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't have been too long after that.
No, because I remember the XPW guys getting little, I guess, tryouts.
Mm.
Chaos was on Explosion. Then he's in the back in one scene, just like as an extra.
Yeah, it's too bad they never signed him because he had at least 2 or 3 WWE ones that were on TV, and
Yeah,
never happened.
That's a guy who, although he's not, you wouldn't say he's full time, but he still can go because he's still training his students constantly. Chaos is always can deliver, but he just doesn't really wrestle anymore, which is,
You could, I mean, as long as you had enough guys to be there at the beginning for sort of passing of the torch kind of thing, at least you get 1 or 2 that can, Jimmy can still work. You could bring XPW back if you wanted to. It'd be again, who knows after this lockdown, indie wrestling, a lot of promotions may be going away. So, it'd be a time to bring something back from the past.
They can come back.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
I'm more worried about a UEW comeback at this point, but
hey, UEW's gonna take over AEW and WWE, Todd.
I'd be fine with that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you've already got a hat guy on commentary. I'm just saying. Bring in the WWE fans. I can say Slobberknocker.
I'm ready for the tryouts for color commentating.
You think you could work with Ozzy? You're absolutely insane, Dan.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I think you would get tired of you.
If I was down in California,
you know what? When you're
so bad.
maybe we'll have you two call that hate show.
I'm gonna call him Osvaldo the whole time, though. That's gonna be my Jesse Ventura moment. He's gonna be Osvaldo.
So, anything else about New Jack, gentlemen? Otherwise, we're going to talk XPW the whole time.
Yeah.
Once we have our other gimmick figured out, we should bring on guests and do a full XPW show.
Yeah, that's long overdue. I'm sure we'll do it because, like I said, we've got at least another month, if not 2.
Well, we still got to get the other gimmick to work. I think I needed a webcam so we can record properly.
Yeah. But hopefully this looks good enough for now, guys. I know this is...
it'll get better. This is still a work in progress.
Yeah, we're going to
get... If
get...
you're not watching us and you're just listening to us, hopefully we sound as good as we've been sounding. So.
Yeah, I hope it should. It should.
Well, if you are, let us know.
But, yeah, so you can get
Come on,
this...
Donald. Give us feedback.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, guys, fleshwoundfeatures.com. Check out
We're signing out already? I wasn't telling you to sign out. We didn't even talk after the bell. Or did you not watch? And that's what
I did not get to see after the bell.
Well, it was good.
Too complicated. Well, did you catch him do a bump at the end?
I missed it. Did he really?
No. I have to go back and I can't go back and watch it, but that's what everyone said. If you watch Close Apart, you know, he like just got done.
Well, he's at home. Leave him alone.
So I don't know if it's true or not, but if it was, that's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Now would be the
And
time
you've seen
for New Jack to get some big bookings because everybody's talking about him again. So
Those three together, because it was Dreamer, Sandman,
Mustafa.
and
Mustafa.
well, yeah, I liked it when it was when it was the other three. Well, I'm no beef. I mean, but fucking New Jack, Dreamer, and Sandman. Those three together was like really cool.
I was surprised the amount of people that thought Mustafa was dead. There was a lot of comments about that.
You watch Lion King, and that's what happened. They got confused.
Yeah, I always prefer the single New Jack over the gang. Or well, I liked him single over a team.
Same
Did we
here.
lose Dan? Oh, he has to go off screen and say racial things.
Well, my little dog
Finally.
was run in, and he couldn't get through the door. You want to say hi? Can I get
No.
you? You want to do the
Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching. See you next
There's
week.
4. I'm immortalizing my dog.
Who's this?
What's up? Can you give Todd the finger? Come on. There you go.
What dog is this?
Quark.
What's up, Cork?
It's a cool dog. Don't be camera shy.
Like the kind you stick in your butt, that kind of cork?
Fuck you, Todd. Deep Space Nine, motherfucker.
I would send him up for that one at least.
Cool.
Which I will not be watching in my
Hey, if it
my
goes
quarantine.
through May, you might. Now he's just
we'll
taking.
see. You know, if
Yeah, I didn't freeze, Dan. I was ignoring you.
I am down again to do instead of a Spartacus retrospective, we should just do a Spartacus show, like a watch along.
That's what I was gonna say. It might be fun. Just
And that's on Netflix, isn't it?
No, it's on Stars. It was on Netflix for like the longest fucking time.
Well, because we could have actually done the watch along. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. We're still working on shit.
yeah, you're gonna get a lot of stuff from us. Check out.
I am down
all
to talk
the-
Spartacus. Let's bump it up. But, New Jack.
All right. Any other XPW things before we go?
No.
Rules.
No.
Fucking do your homework if you're
There's
a
a lot of
newer
other
fan.
shows, so I'll say that there's so much to say.
Well, yeah, we'll do a show.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
see who we
fine.
can get on.
Yeah, there's several options. Yeah, shit.
We may luck out.
New Jack.
I know there's one we can only do either or. We can't
Oh,
have
yeah.
both. But unfortunately, I really want to have both.
Well,
It's hard for me to pick one.
I was gonna say, bring it up to both of them. See what happens.
Well,
Blindside them.
right.
You get stabbed like New Jack.
But who am I blindsiding in that scenario?
Both of them.
Okay.
That'd be like just like having like Brian Blair and Iron Sheik. Just don't say anything. See the reaction when they both walk into the room.
The fuck? Yeah. Cool.
So, anyways, guys, we will see you here soon. Be sure to check out all the shows. We're posting a lot. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, guys.
It's
Good
New
night.
Jack,
Good night.
Street Fighter for the funk. And I'm about to funk you up with my 187 pump. Now bring me my trash can. New Jack.